want to talk about this idea of oversharing on the internet, which is certainly relevant for me because here I am speaking my mind on all sorts of topics, being raw and unfiltered. So I run a very high risk of oversharing. Now, so far, I think I've erred on the side of undersharing, I would say, because I haven't really given any personal details about me and my life. I've spoken a lot about very deeply personal topics, things I believe, philosophies and things like that. And I've exposed some of my vulnerabilities, some of my fears. I've shown some of my eccentricities, some of my differences. And a lot of that stuff is very vulnerable and personal, but it's not like personally identifying, and I don't think it really crosses the line into oversharing. I don't think so anyway. When I think about oversharing, the extreme example comes to mind. That would be somebody, for example, they got a phone call and something tragic happened, and now they feel really upset and they start crying. And so they bust out their phone and film themselves crying because they think, oh, wow, this is going to make great content for my channel or something. Like, that is oversharing. Or sharing really personal, like, let's say, medical things that went wrong with your body that are really like embarrassing and personal. I think that would be oversharing. Revealing personal details of other people that maybe don't paint them in a good light, that could be oversharing. But there's a risk of undersharing as well. And if you undershare, then there's no connection, there's no humanity. How are you going to get to know somebody if they don't share anything about themselves? And since the point of my channel is supposed to be reconnecting with our humanity a bit by connecting with each other, then I can't do that by just not sharing anything at all. Some people have the opinion that the internet is not your personal journal. You should not be posting your personal stories and details on the internet because it's not the right avenue for it. You should keep that to yourself or tell it only to very specific, trusted people in your life, not post it on the internet where it can go all over the place. It's out of your control. And I totally get that. I understand that. And there is a risk there. Anything you say on the internet can and will be used against you. People could dig up things from years ago and say, you said this, and what can you do? There's the evidence right there, So I'm not sure. I'm thinking about this more because I'm planning on doing a live stream, my first ever live stream. I tried to do one last night, but apparently you have to wait 24 hours the first time you try to do a live stream. So maybe we'll do one tonight, but that's extra risky because when you do a live stream, people might ask you questions, they might ask you personal questions, and then you got to decide on the fly by the seat of your pants, are you going to answer this or not? If you do answer it, your answer may haunt you for life. You can't control if someone records the stream or something like that. Maybe it's paranoid thinking. Maybe I'm worrying about this issue too much, but it's something I do have to think about. It's important. If you just ignore it, you can get yourself into a lot of trouble. Now, some people, they take oversharing to the extreme. They overshare on purpose. They want that attention, any kind of attention, however they can get it. They just want to grow their channel. They want more people to look at them, whether it's good or bad attention. So they'll just purposefully tell you all kinds of crazy things. They'll try to make it more and more dramatic, more and more intriguing for people. But that's just attracting toxic people, the people that want to see a show where they're making fun of someone else at their expense. I don't want that sort of thing. If I shared more than nothing, it would be in pursuit of connection and having other people relate to what I'm saying, and not for drama and attention to bring these sort of people around that would want to make fun of you or whatever it might be. There's this concept of the lol cow. The lol cow, you milk them for the lols. You just make fun of them, and some guys love this. I don't know if they're immature or what it is exactly, but they just love laughing at other people that they feel are beneath them, maybe that are making awkward or strange decisions, and just milking them for the lulz. And I have this part of me that fears becoming that, especially because I'm so strange and eccentric. I have certain things about me that are not standard. So I could very easily fall into that, being a lol cow, and someone could dig up all these clips of me and then cut out certain ways that I say things and portray them in a way that makes me funny to that kind of people, which is so sad, you know? I would just ignore those people if they did something like that, because, you know, what does it mean to me? But, you know, if that spreads and then all these people are harassing me, that's what I don't want to happen. So while I do want to be authentic and share myself and even my strangeness, I don't want to become a lol cow. I don't want to. I don't think I would. One thing about lol cows is that they're very unaware. They're not self-aware. And I think I'm reasonably self-aware, but because I have certain blind spots in my awareness, certain things socially I don't fully understand and comprehend what's going on. So I think it could be pretty easy for me to fall into some gray area, some space where I don't really understand something and know what's happening, and then people will start making fun of me for that. I don't know, it hasn't happened yet. Everyone's been super nice to me, actually, and super kind. Although they say you gotta let a lol cow cook. You gotta leave them alone for a while so that they produce enough crazy and interesting stuff that then you can start making fun of them later. So part of me worries, am I just sowing the seeds of lol cowdom, and someone's gonna dig them all up and start making fun of me? These are the sort of things that I worry about. But, you know, the thing is, I was isolated alone for many years, a long time. And this platform gives me some way to reach out and connect with some people in some way. I think that's better than nothing. You know, I don't really have social groups that I go out and connect with or anything. So for me, this is the way I do it. I think it works well for me and my personality. I think it works well for my viewers. You know, it keeps a sort of safe distance. You don't have to overly commit to hanging out with someone in the real world. You can just kind of control whether you watch or don't watch, and I can control what I upload and what I decide to talk about or not talk about. So it's kind of a safer, controlled space for semi-socializing. At the same time, it's very uncontrolled because I can't control, you know, the public, the world, what they do with it, whether they take it and run with it in certain ways that I might not like. I don't know, this is the sort of stuff I've been thinking about. So for the sake of connection, I do want to share. Authenticity is important. Real, deep connection is important. But at the same time, I do understand the perspective that you don't want to just share everything as though it's your personal journal for attention. I'm definitely not trying to do that. If I do expose too much stuff and cross a line, I guess I'll find out about it after the fact. Life has a funny way of teaching the lessons after you made the mistake, and it's hard to anticipate them beforehand. But I feel like what I'm doing is, so far, it's fine. It's nothing too crazy, so I'm gonna keep doing it, keep seeing how it goes, and we'll see if my fears ever come true or whether I'm just making a big deal out of nothing. I guess we'll see eventually.